Hello everyone, I'm Christopher. Today, I'm testing why this Eagle lawnmower doesn't start when I pull the handle. The long story short, in my case, I needed to replace the fuse. So if you're only here for fuse replacement, you can skip to the timestamp listed below. Otherwise, if you're here for all the other steps that I checked along the way, let's dive right in. Help! My Eagle lawnmower won't start. Find yourself in this situation? Well, that happens to me right now. Let's talk about it. So, here we go. Press the button, depress the clamps, and nothing. There's a whole bunch of things we need to check, starting with the battery. Check that it's got some power. It does. Pull it out. Check that it's not too grimy. Nope. Check that the connectors are not disgusting. They really are not, in my case. Sometimes if this is too dirty or if you've left the battery in for too long, that can be a problem. You'd hate to be bringing this out over winter and have made the mistake of leaving your battery in and then it's corroded. Ugh. Great. Not the problem. Next, let's check the handle. There are 3 different relays that are engaged here for connection between the battery. The first one is at this pivot point. Usually it makes a clicking sound, which I'm not hearing, which I don't like. That's to make sure it doesn't start when you've got this, laying flat or hanging up in your garage, whatever. The second one's right here. If you've ever noticed it, you can't lock this at any other position. There are holes when this is fully extended. That gets connected there and engaged. And the third is right here at the click. And that did not solve the problem. Next up, take out your battery and tip it up. We want to make sure that your blade is not too tight. It should be spinning freely like that. I haven't changed this in a while, so it shouldn't be a problem still. Anyways, that's spinning freely. It's not too tight. Nothing is clicking. A little bit dirty, but that's not like it's clogging anything. It's not a gas motor. You don't have to worry about oxygen flow or anything, or a spark. You just need electricity. Now we got to open up some panels. 4 screws up here for the main handle. They're T20s, by the way. So if you don't have any Torx driver bits, you'll need to go out and get some. I have a million T25s around my shop because that's what so many of the screws that I use are. But I always find myself looking for a T15 or a T20. There we go. When those come out, there's a lock nut at the end. That may or may not pop off as well. And there's 4 on the underside here. Methodical, great. Bottom panel, nothing to see. This is just a plastic back. Here's one of the nuts that didn't pop out. I'll turn you around to see that. Here's the underside. All right, there's where the wires come up from the battery. Going into the auto push. This is what engages the device, So you can test a couple things. That's clicking as it should. Greatest angle ever, I know. Can you hear that click? Click, click, click. Right, that's still functional up here. Everything appears to still be connected, as it should. Nothing looks frayed. Everything's good up top. None of these little ports have disconnected. Still, just a force of habit, because I grew up in the 90s and early 2000s. Unplug and replug things back in. That's just part of a hard reset to me. Also gives me a chance to look inside, and they're perfectly clean. So I don't think that my problem is up here. Not a waste of time. Gave me an opportunity to look. Oh, and speaking of opportunity to look, I got to admit, one of the reasons for the impetus for filming this in the first place is to have some sort of visual in case I misplaced something to look at it on the camera. But we can close this up. I don't think the problem's up here. Well, I do not believe that we did anything of consequence up there, aside from unplugging and reconnecting a few things. We should still be methodical and check. Correct. No change. Everything clicks as it's supposed to still, which is good. If I were truly being methodical, I would check the middle section next, and then work my way down. But I have a gut feeling that the problem lays down here, so that's what we're going to open up next. I think it's just these 4 screws, unless there's something hidden deep down in here. We'll find out. It was these 4 plus 2 that are buried down here, and that's where it pays to have a long driver like that. Let's pop it off and take a look. Well, it's a mess, to say the least. Golly, I feel ashamed just looking at that. I'm sure something in here is interfering with operation, so I'm going to get my shop vac out and clean the sucker up. We got this all cleaned up, and I disconnected and reconnected everything that I could. I was hoping that it might have been this, because it seemed a little loose, but I don't believe it is. Let's take a look under here. Does it fit? I don't think there's anything. Grumble, 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 grumble. In for a penny, in for a pound at this point. We gotta figure out if anything is disconnected in the back section. I'm worried about a frayed wire going up here. Well, I removed the blades and I removed this collar to see if there's anything caught inside here, and I'm afraid that there isn't. Nice and freestanding. I could remove these 3 bolts, and that would actually loosen up the motor. I'd have to remove it from the other side, take that panel off again. I don't think I'm going to need to do that just yet, so I'll put the blades back on. You know, while I'm doing this, I'll tell you, as much as I hate having to disassemble everything for the sake of diagnosing the problem, I can still appreciate the quality of the materials. I mean, there's a lot of bolts going through here, and plastic's really high grade. Think of all the crap this has to stand up to. I think it was a really well-engineered product. Let's see. Here's a video of the relay. I took this off of this side. I've got them both loosened. Take a look at that switch. You see how when you've got your handle all the way down, it's tripped. And that's why they tell you it has to go all the way up before you engage. Putting this pin in the side hole here doesn't actually trip anything. All it does is prevent this handle from going up and down and tripping the switch. I'm going to get some electric tools and see if there's power going to this when I've got the battery on. It'd be great if this little piece were at fault and I could just swap it out. Here's that relay I was looking for. And this isn't the problem either. Listen. All right. It trips when it's supposed to. It has been 2.5 weeks. I have been waiting for this. So this is the fuse right here to the main PCBA. And according to my multimeter, and according to the multimeter at the Ace Kits and File True Value that I went to, this wasn't reading anything. So I hope that means it's dead, and that this is the culprit. 2.5 weeks I waited for this. The first place I ordered it from, 2 to 5 business day shipping, 6th business day came, nothing. Emailed them. They replied back, oh, due to circumstances outside our control, we will not be getting this in until the 28th of May, which was like another 10 days from now at the time of filming. So I had them cancel the order, which they did. And I got this from Amazon. I'm going to plug it in, turn the battery on, and we're going to see together if that's the problem. I'm not sure if you're seeing this. I just assume you are. Pretty simple plug. Very simple when you're using both hands. Obviously. Put you down. I turned the camera off so I could turn it around. The fresh fuse is in. You have a charged battery. In theory. Lights went on. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Is anything underneath this? No. Okay. In my shed, not the best thing to do. 1, 2. Yes! Yes, we did it! Okay. So, aside from being frustrated as all get go that it took forever to get this replacement part, we did it, and the thing only cost like $20 after shipping. If I had sent this in, it would have been hundreds for repair and who knows how many weeks. So that's great. I'm going to tuck this right back in its housing, put all the fittings on, and this is good to go. Woohoo! I'm certainly happy with how this turned out. I also love that I did everything myself. Now I intimately know the innards of this tool, and it's going to last many, 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 many more years. And when something happens again, I'll have a better idea of where to check sooner. So, has this happened to you? What have you done? Have you had to replace your main PCBA or go deeper than I did after the fuse? What did you like? What might you have done differently? Let us know in the comments below. I love ego stuff. I don't get any money for them, but I really love them. And that's that. Happy gardening. Bye!